Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm doing a Lunalight deck profile. So this deck is absolutely insane, with the Lunalight Leo Dancer being one of the best OTK piece cards in the entire history of Yu-Gi-Oh! It is just such a fun deck to play around with, and actually pretty budget. I mean, it's fairly budget. It's a really fun deck to play around with, and I highly recommend you guys give this one a shot. It's a really OTK-based deck that can special summon out 3 of the Lunalight Leo Dancers per turn, which is absolutely crazy. But this deck is absolutely fun, and I highly recommend you guys give it a try. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description because we have some really cool rewards for you guys, like getting a signed card, getting your name in the description of every single video, or even getting a requested deck profile every single month that you are a patron. So without further ado guys, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Lunalight Kaleido Chick. So Lunalight Kaleido Chick's effect is really interesting, because as the effect up, it's basically the entire starter of the entire deck. It makes the entire deck work really well. What this card does is once per turn, you can send a Lunalight monster from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard, and then this card is treated as that monster's name. And if this card is used for a fusion summon, if this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can target a polymerization in your graveyard and add it back to your hand. You only use the effect of the Lunalight Kaleido Chick once per turn, and if this card is banished, you can activate this turn. Your opponent cannot cards and effects cannot be activated during the battle phase, which is really cool because it just makes it so you can OTK your opponent, because if it's banished by the effect of your copy of Lunalight Wolf, and you have 2 of these on the field, then your opponent can activate anything during the battle phase, and you just attack them 1, 2, 3, 4, and you win, essentially, which is how this deck entirely plays. If you open up Lunalight Kaleido Chick and a copy of Polymerization, or a copy of Black Sheep and Wolf, you've won. You've essentially won with those 3 cards. Then we play 3 copies of Lunalight Yellow Marten. Yellow Marten is one of the better cards in the deck, because if this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can target a Lunalight card you control and return it to your hand, and if you do, special summon this card in defense position but banish one of these to the field. And if this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can add a Lunalight spell or trap from your deck to your hand, which is why we play this card, is because you can add Lunalight Perfume or Lunalight Fusion or anything like that to your hand, which really helps out to be able to search those Lunalight cards directly from your deck. Then we play 3 copies of Lunalight Black Sheep. Lunalight Black Sheep's effect is basically discard this card to add a polymerization from your deck to your hand, or add a Lunalight monster from your graveyard to your hand. And if this card is in your graveyard as a fusion material, you can add it to your hand, and 1 Lunalight Pendulum monster from your extra deck or Lunalight monster from your graveyard, which can really help you out. And that's the reason I play this card at 3, is because it basically searches polymerization. 3 copies of Lunalight Wolf. The only effect that matters is the Pendulum effect, because basically what she does is if she is in the Pendulum zone, then you can basically Miracle Fusion out of your graveyard. So for instance, if you have a copy of Panther Dancer and 2 copies of your Lunalight monsters in the graveyard, then you can banish this and 2 Lunalight monsters from your grave, and then special summon your Leo Dancer, which can really help you out to get it out on the field as quickly as possible, because what you're trying to do is win with the Leo Dancer and OTK your opponent with it. Then we play a single copy for the 1 of Lunalight monsters. I play a single copy of Crimson Fox. I really like Crimson Fox as a 1 of. I probably would not play it at any more than 1, because if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls and change its attack to 0 until the end phase of the turn. And then when a card effect is activated that targets a Lunalight monster you control, then you can manage the card from your grave, negate the activation if you do destroy it, and gain 1,000 life points. And then each player gains 1,000 life points, which really helps out just being able to protect your other Lunalight monsters. 1 copy of Lunalight Blue Cat. Blue Cat's really cool because not a lot of people play this card anymore, but I still think it's a really insane card when it can boost your Lunalight Leo Dancer up to 7,000. But if this card is special summon, you can target a Lunalight monster you control, and then its attack becomes double until the end phase of the turn, and you can only use this effect once per turn. If this card is on the field is destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can special summon a Lunalight monster from your deck, which can be a copy of Kaleido Chick, which can help you get all of your monsters out on the field. And then for the last 1 of, I play just a single copy of Emerald Bird nowadays. Nowadays, Emerald Bird is not quite as good as she used to be. She's still a good card, but I just think she's a good 1 of, because if she's normal or special summon, then you can send a Lunalight card from your hand to the graveyard, and if you do, you get to draw a card, and if this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you get to target 1 of your level 4 lower Lunalight monsters that is banished or in your graveyard except another copy of yourself in special summon or defense position but negate her effects, which is not that big of a deal because you're just getting another monster on the field so you can use it as a fusion material. Then for the last 2 monsters in the main deck, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Nibiru because the majority of the time you're going to be going second in Lunalights because it is an OTK based deck to be able to go after your opponent with the Nibiru on their side of the field to be able to attack them directly after you get rid of the Nibiru on their side of the field. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Polymerization. 2 copies of Polymerization because it is really easy to search this card with your copy of Black Sheep. So basically you're playing 5 copies of Polymerization, which is really, really easy to do just to get it out of your deck. 3 copies of your Lunalight Fusion. Lunalight Fusion lets you fusion summon a Lunalight monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material. And if your opponent controls a monster with special summon from the extra deck, you can also use a Lunalight monster from your deck or extra deck as a fusion material, which is really cool because it lets you basically send Kaleido Chick to the graveyard, or not Kaleido Chick, but Panther Dancer if you don't have the Kaleido Chick, or send another Lunalight monster from your deck to the graveyard if you don't quite have all the Lunalight pieces that you need. So Lunalight Fusion is insane for this deck and is really good as a 3 of in the deck. I really would always play 3 because at this point, if you're not fusing, you're losing in this deck. So you really want to play the 3 copies of Lunalight Fusion. Then we're playing 3 copies of Lunalight Perfume. Lunalight Perfume is really cool because you get to target a Lunalight monster in your graveyard and just special summon it. And you can banish this card and then discard a card to add a Lunalight card from your deck to your hand. And that is not once per turn. You can revive as many Lunalight cards as you want from your graveyard because this card does not have a once per turn clause. Then we play 3 copies of Lunalight Foolish Burial Goods, but it pretty much is. Basically, this card lets you send a spell or trap to the graveyard, which is always going to be your Serenade Dance or your Lunalight Perfume, so you can instantly get that add or get the effect of Serenade Dance to banish it to send a random card from your hand to the graveyard to special summon a Lunalight monster from your deck, which is usually going to be your blue cat, so you can get those effects off. Then we play 3 copies of Allure of Darkness just to help you dig into the deck to get your particular pieces that you need. Something that you do have to keep in mind is that your Nibiru and your Lunalight Wolf are light monsters, so you cannot banish them for the effects of your other card effects. So you do have to banish something like a copy of your Yellow Martin or something like that when you do activate this effect, but usually you're going to have doubles in your hand, so it's not that big of a deal. 3 copies of Call by the Grave because you just don't want to deal with your opponent's hand traps. You guys knew it was coming, but we do play the 3 copies of Call by the Grave. Since it is a primarily dark-based deck, we play 3 copies of Super Polymerization. This card really helps out in this deck because basically you're just fusion summoning into Starving Mid and Fusion Dragon to get it out on the field and use it with your Verte Anaconda to be able to get rid of cards on your opponent's side of the field. Then, since it is a primarily Beast Warrior deck, we are going to be playing 3 copies of Fire Formation Tinky, which also boosts your Lunalight monsters up by an additional 100 attack points like they needed it, because they're already humongous on attack points. But this card basically lets us add a Beast Warrior monster from our deck to our hand, which is really easy and why we're always going to have the particular combo pieces that we need, because if you add from your deck to your hand with the Tinky, the Lunalight Fusion, or Lunalight Perfume, or the Foolish Burial Goods, you have essentially 12 chances to get any particular card you need, and if you don't get it, you're going to get it with the Allure of Darkness. So you have so many search cards in this deck, it is absolutely absurd if you don't OTK your opponent on the second turn. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps, which we do play a single trap in the deck, which is going to be a single copy of Lunalight Serenade Dance. So Lunalight Serenade Dance, its effect is basically this. You're never going to activate this card on the field. You're always going to send it to the graveyard to trigger its effect, but let's just say you did activate it, and let's go through that effect. So a fusion summon monster is fusion summoned to your side of the field. You can target one of those fusion monsters and apply one of these effects. Special summon a Lunalight token with 2,000 and 2,000 to your opponent's side of the field. Why would we ever do that? Or let that targeted monster gain 500 attack. For your opponent, that targeted 500 attack points for each monster your opponent controls. That's the only effect that you ever really want to activate on this card if you hard draw it, which may come up. But if you don't activate it, then it has a much better effect that during your opponent's main phase you can banish it and then send a card from your hand to the graveyard, and if you do, you get special summon a Lunalight monster from your deck, which can be a copy of your Blue Cat, it can be a copy of Yellow Martin. Any Lunalight monster that you have in your deck can just instantly special summon itself from the deck and then put it on your side of the field, which can get you additional materials, get you additional effects, and it's just super, super helpful. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck, where the magic really happens. So First off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Lunalight Leo Dancer. So Lunalight Leo Dancer, you guys might be looking at this and going, wait, how are you going to get 3 of those out? It's not that hard, because you have the polymerization, you have Lunalight Fusion, and you have your copy of Lunalight Wolf, which makes it so easy to fusion summon into this card. So basically what this card does is you have to fusion summon a Panther Dancer and 2 Lunalight monsters to fusion summon this card. But if you have your copy of Kaleido Chick, it becomes one of the fusion monsters, which is Panther Dancer. You just have to send it from your extra deck to the graveyard. But it has the ability that it must be fusion summoned and cannot be special summoned by other ways. And it cannot be targeted or destroyed by your opponent's card effects. And this card can make a second attack during each battle phase. And then once per turn, at the start of the damage step, this card attacked a monster, you can destroy all special summon monsters your opponent controls. That is insane. It destroys all special summon monsters. It can make 2 attacks at a 3,500 body. And she can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects. That is crazy. This card is so good as a 3 of in this deck, and it is so good. Then we play 3 copies of Lunalight Panther Dancer. Sadly, basically all Panther Dancer does is get sent from the extra deck to the graveyard to be able to fusion summon into your Lunalight Leo Dancer. You never really make the Panther Dancer, but basically what she does is she can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects, and then once per turn during your main phase 1, you can activate this effect. For the rest of the turn, the first monster that this card attacks cannot be destroyed by battle, and if it is not destroyed, also this card can attack all monsters your opponent controls twice each, and if this card does, if this card destroys a monster by battle, you gains 200 attack until the end of the battle phase. So you can make a bunch of attacks at once, which is nice and all, but you're never going to make this card. You're always going to make your Lunalight Leo Dancer all the time. Then we play a single copy of Cat Dancer. Cat Dancer I actually summon sometimes. If you have an awkward hand, you will make Cat Dancer. It's an occasional card. It doesn't come up all that often, but she can't be destroyed by battle, which is super nice, and that's the reason I make her sometimes. But once per turn, during your main phase 1, you can tribute one other Lunalight monster, and for the rest of the turn, the first time each monster your opponent controls will be destroyed by battle. It is not destroyed by battle, and also this card can make attack all monsters your opponent controls, up to twice each. And if this card declares an attack, inflict 100 points of damage to your opponent. Not that great, but it can't be destroyed by battle, so that's why you play it as a 1-of. And then 1 copy of Lunalight Saber Dancer. Saber Dancer is still a really good card to me, because she gains 200 attack points for each Beast Warrior monster that is banished or in your grave, and then your opponent cannot target this card with card effects, and then during your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your grave to target a fusion monster you control, and it gains 3,000 attack points. I just play her as a 1-of because sometimes I'll use her as a material to go into a Leo Dancer to make Leo Dancer huge. Just if I have the option to, I'll go in for this and then go in for my blue cat to make this card go all the way up to 13,000 and can attack twice, which is just hilarious to do. 1 copy of Starving Venom, which is just super poly target. 1 copy of Mud Dragon, which is also another super poly target. That's a lot of purple. Again, if you ain't fusing, you're losing. Then we play a single copy of Abyss Dweller just to lock our opponent out of the graveyard, which really helps out. Number 60, which can double the attack points of a Lunalight monster, which can make it go from 13,000 all the way up to 26,000, which is really funny to do. Which is, it happens very rarely, but this card really helps out, and it's not super hard to make. So you make this card with your Lunalight Leo Dancer, double her attack points to 7,000, and you OTK your opponent that turn. 1 copy of Nightmare Unicorn just to bounce stuff in case you need to. 1 copy of Phoenix to pop spells and traps, and a single copy of Predaplant Verte Anaconda, because this deck is a primarily fusion-based deck, and you can actually get some real value out of your Verte Anaconda in this deck because you do have the copy of Lunalight Fusion in the deck. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it lives up to you guys' expectations, because you guys were requesting this one like crazy for me to do, which is a really good deck. I mean, it's just still a really good deck. So I really quickly want to give a shout out to my buddy Cameron. He plays this deck all the time, and it's just one of his favorite decks besides Burning Abyss, I think. So definitely get a shout out to him. It's just such a good deck, and I highly recommend that you guys give it a try. I would imagine it's relatively budget. I haven't looked up the prices of this deck in a long time, but it's, from the last time I looked it up, it was pretty budget. So definitely give that a look, but I consider anything under $100 budget, maybe $50 budget. So definitely give it a look. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell next so you can become part of the notification squad, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you around, guys.